ain't drunk. I'm just drinking. But you're so high. Oh man, you know I ain't high. But you're so high. Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then. But you're so high. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh, come on now, you all don't feel like that.
All right, kids, welcome to JJ's Cheap Ass Hat Cam. This would be my brother Danny over there, a good friend of mine. He's a drummer, but he's not there anyway. The video we've all been waiting for. The MOKA Drone is done, and I dialed it in on my desk. I have not maidened it yet, so hopefully the fucking thing doesn't blow up. Yeah, I don't think I changed a whole lot. It's a folder, obviously, we know this. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. I did set this up as a bottom mount battery. You can easily make this a top mount if you want to reconfigure your GPS where that goes. And this folds down too, like I said before. Your antenna, I do advise you put back here. But you could put the GPS up here, whatever you want. But I'm going to put my HD camera up there. And I like the way bottom mounts fly anyway. You have that pendulum effect of center of gravity, which works out really, really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this. Normally, I set my, what I call hybrid drones. Hybrid meaning flies like a quad, but has drone functionality. You will not get this out of a DJI or anything like that. There's some differences between this and a DJI. A DJI is going to have limitations. You can only go so high before they shut you down. You can only, oh, that's really crooked. You can only go so low before they shut, or so fast with them, this, that, and whatever. And this one is also waterproof as well, for the most part. I don't know about waterproof, but pretty damn close. You can fly this thing in a thunderstorm, you'll be all right. So yeah, but a DJI also has a much better camera system on it too. So, you know, let's call a cow a cow. I got my 4S 3300 homemade battery that I'm going to use on this, but you can use any battery. You can put a 1300 4S that we run on our quads on here. You can put a 4000 3S, a 5000 3S, and it'll carry it no problem. Use 6-inch props with Sunny Sky Racing Edition 2300 kV motors. For the purpose of this video, I did not set it up the way I normally do. I set it up so my mode switch goes into angle mode, then position hold, then GPS hold, then return to launch, okay? Normally how I set them up is that is acro mode, that is GPS hold and altitude, and that one is return to home. Usually that's how I do it, but I don't want to fly an acro for the maiden at this point. So hang on a sec, smoking hot wife interruption. Sorry about that. Anyway, so here's what we've got. All right. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but we're in the drone channel. We're going to go GPS mode, acro mode. It says acro mode, but that's actually angle. Altitude hold only, which I never really use. And GPS lock, okay? And then arming is over here, and then waypoint navigation is here. Now, one of the things I'm going to do a separate video on is waypoint programming. Waypoint programming is basically you're going to upload GPS coordinates in, you're going to hit a switch, the fucker's going to take off, it's going to fly, drop a beer on somebody's head, and then come home. We're going to do a video specifically on that function because they finally put the ground control station functionality into Inav. So I'm very, very excited about that. But I want to test it first before we get too involved. But with APM and Pixhawk, which is what I originally started building drones with back in the day, Mission Planner, which was the ground control station software, was phenomenal and I loved it. So now it looks like Inav's stepping up, so we're going to have to do a video on that. So what we're going to do, make sure all of our switches are where they need to be. Okay, and we're going to plug in our little 4S. Now, something that's interesting, I don't use a strap on drones. I use my 3D Sherlock tape, and I'll put a link in the bottom of the description to this, because yes, I do flips and I fly acro, but this stuff is so strong. I'm not flying at the same rates. Pretty close, but I'm not usually flying at the same rates as I am on a normal bird. So, believe it or not, I very seldom will use a strap. So, unless it's a really heavy battery or something like that, then okay, you know, if it makes you feel better, kids, use a fucking strap. Okay, so we're gonna plug this in. Beep beep beep. All right, see how my LED is blinking? No, it's already got 3D lock. That GPS is nuts. But normally what it would do is it would flash red and then it would flash blue while it's acquiring satellites. Like I said before, if it flashes 4 times in blue, then it has 4 satellites in vision. And then once it flashes green, you can see how many times it's flashing. If you count those, it'll tell you how many satellites it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, 11. So we have 11 satellites locked. So I should be able to arm this thing. Yep, there we go. So it won't even arm unless, Rototwister, unless you've got enough satellites to do this. So we're gonna fly in angle mode first, okay? This is not acro. I do not have goggles on. We'll do a goggle flight too, just so you guys can see the DVR. But yeah, this is just angle mode, line of sight, all right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly in angle mode first. Then we're going to bring it in. It's a nice, gorgeous day. It's a little rainy over there. And then we're going to put an altitude hold. And altitude hold's going to use the barometer. And it's just going to sit still in space, but it's going to drift laterally, all right? Because it's only holding the altitude, but it's still going to drift. Then we're going to put it in GPS mode, and it should lock. Then, as a final test, we're going to do return to home. Now, I do not have this dialed in yet, so when I do return to home launch, or return to home function, it might come flying home very, very, very fast. I'll fix that, because sometimes it can overshoot and come back, and it's kind of a waste of time. So, as soon as this car passes, we're going to do our test. Now, with GPS drones, one of the things I love about these things, I had a guy ask me, who's a friend of mine on the channel, and I like the dude. He's got a C-3PO emblem, so I like him right there for that. But one of the things he's like, yeah, that's cool, but what the fuck would you want that for? Okay, here's why I want it. I like flying these because they're relaxing. I can slap my camera onto the top of this thing, fly over trees, go really high, go really far. If I go out of range, the bitch comes home by itself. I turn off the radio, it comes home by itself, it lands by itself. There's a lot of stress-free, I don't know, flying involved with a GPS drone. Now, if you make it a hybrid like this one, it's even more fun, because what I like to do, I like to go really, really high, throw it in acro mode, and just do crazy shit, and I'll go higher than the FAA would want me to, and then I'll do nose dives and all this other crazy stuff. And if you get lost, flip return home, bam, she comes home. So without further ado, we're going to do angle mode first. So we're going to arm. This is on a 4S. All right, angle mode. That beeping you hear is actually my transmitter. Now, I'm not going full speed because I am in the subdivision. We'll do a pop test of full speed. Okay, just 2300 motors, very strong though. That's no throttle, that's just air mode coming down, bam, okay. So we're gonna bring it back. And I don't have this thing wide open, and I'm not going to. It's a big bird, I'm in the subdivision. All right, we're gonna put it in altitude hold mode, and you're going to see it sitting still and drifting to the side probably. Or whichever way the wind's blowing. So that's altitude hold. Okay? Nice. Now, I don't really use altitude hold a lot by itself. I use GPS hold. There's GPS hold. Notice how it's sitting in one spot. Perfect. I got that dialed in pretty good for guessing. Okay? Now, in GPS mode, you can still control it. Okay? Like if I want to pitch forward, it still moves. And it'll kind of bounce back a little bit. So if I raise it up, and I go forward, okay, and I just let off on the stick, it's going to do that. And that's because it's swooping around. I haven't dialed it in yet, but see, it's holding in GPS mode right now. It'll stop toilet bowling in a minute. There, see it? Now what we're going to do, hopefully this can see, let's go, I'm going to put it back in angle mode. Let's bring it down a little bit. Now, I'm going to fly it over here, And I usually set my return to launch up to go 3,000 centimeters, which is about 100 feet or so. I set this for 1,500 just because this is the maiden. I'm in a subdivision and I want to be able to see where it goes. So I'm going to fly down here. All right, we're going to put it in GPS mode, which is right there. Give it some throttle. All right, and we're going to hit return to launch. Watch. See the bird coming back? All by itself. Now you're going to see it stop. There's the sun. And you're going to see it rotate. And there you go. Now, I just took it out of that. No big deal. We're going to put it down. I don't want landing on the roof. I haven't dialed it in yet. It's really, really close. We're just going to disarm. When you rearm a GPS drone, that is now home. Okay, we're going to do a return to launch. It's coming back all by itself. I'm not touching a thing. No throttle, no nothing. And you can reposition it while it's landing. Not a big deal. Make sure there's no cars coming. Yep, we're good. And it's going to land by itself. Still not touching a thing. Now, in the settings, I'll probably speed this up so it's about double that landing. I usually don't let them land on their own. There you go. Okay? Usually. Now, you can also make it disarm by itself too. So if we take this off, back in angle mode. I'm only doing about a third, not even a third throttle. Let's put it back in GPS hold. Right in front of us. Now your throttle control does hold your altitude. All right, that's GPS mode. See? Not touching a thing. Give it a little bit of gas. Now I can push it and it kind of comes back, all right? But if we fly it, see, it will stay there. I need to tighten up the GPS hold limits a little bit. But yeah, you can see that's what it's doing. All by itself. Cool. Now we just pop it back in angle mode. She hauls ass. I can't wait to fly this in acro. So I'm going to go way up, hit return to launch. It's going to come home. Sometimes people don't believe it. It's like, you're actually controlling that. I am not. All right. Sorry about the sun. I'm trying to get this in shot. Now, same principle applies if I just turn off the radio. It should fly home as well. I'm not going to test that in the subdivision. I usually wait till I'm in a field for that, but it should be fine. Nice, slow landing. But like I said, I usually only use return to launch if I'm in a situation and I'm worried about something, whatever. We're going to disarm. And then usually when it comes back into sight where I can see it, that's when I will take over and take it out of that. So anyway, kids, there you go. That is it. The MOKA Deluxe folder. Now we're going to go ahead and do some very basic, nothing fancy goggle flight so you guys can see the DVR. So be right back. Keep your eyesight up. This is the 4th video. The dump file to my settings is in the bottom of this. We will do the waypoint video later on this week. So keep it up, kids. Bye. right, and we're back. So that was the DVR picture video. Got a lot of jello in my camera, so it's a typical run can piece of crap Eagle 2. So, I'll fix that. Not a big deal. Yeah, so there you go, kids. Fold in the fronts first, I think. Yeah, but for a maiden, that was on a maiden drone, that was stellar. Absolutely perfect. I love it. This frame is perfect for it. I absolutely adore it. So this is going to be my new traveling quad, I think. This folds down too, if you want it to. But yeah, I love it, love it, love it. And I was flying behind the house, completely obstructed by my house and trees and everything else, and I had absolutely zero problems with that 800 milliwatt. I didn't go super far. Again, I don't totally trust it yet because I haven't flown it enough, but other than that, super happy. I'll get the jello out of the camera and then we'll be good. So, and I'll pop a DVR, I'm sorry, an HD camera on here tonight, and maybe we'll do some video with that too. So these props might suck as well. I don't know. Gotta try them. So anyway, kids, bam! GPS drones. Fun. Take care. Bye.
Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing. Bam, JJ! Hey, JJ! Hope you like fishing.